Chapter 1: The New Country. Ruby moved to a new country when she was 19. Everything around her looked different. The streets were crowded and busy. The food smelled and tasted strange. The people wore clothes she had never seen before. But the hardest thing was the language. English sounded like a fast river she could not cross. People spoke quickly, and Ruby could not catch the words. She tried to listen, but most of the time she understood nothing. She felt lost in this new world. She felt lonely because she could not make friends. She felt invisible, like no one saw her or cared about her. At school or work, people talked fast. They laughed, joked, and shared stories in English. Ruby wanted to join them. She wanted to talk too. But when she tried, her words got stuck in her throat. She stayed quiet. Every day, she watched people speaking easily while she could barely say a sentence. Sometimes she practiced alone. She whispered simple words to herself. "Hello, how are you? I am fine." But it was not enough. She felt frustrated. She felt like giving up. Ruby dreamed of speaking English like everyone else. She wanted to understand people. She wanted to make friends. She wanted to live without fear. But at that time, it seemed impossible. Every day felt like a challenge. Every conversation felt scary. And Ruby did not know how to start learning the English that could change her life. Little did she know, one small idea would soon change everything. It would turn her fear into courage. It would help her speak English confidently. It would open a completely new world for her. Chapter 2: The Store That Broke Her. One afternoon, Ruby went to a small store to buy milk. Her hands shook. Her heart beat very fast. She felt nervous because she had to speak in English. Every step toward the counter felt heavy. When she reached the cashier, she took a deep breath and asked, "Where milk is?" The cashier looked confused. He tilted his head and asked, "Sorry." A couple of people behind her whispered and laughed quietly. Ruby's cheeks turned red. Her face felt hot. She wanted to disappear. She felt small, weak, and scared. She tried to explain more, but the words would not come. Her hands held the shopping basket tightly. Her stomach felt upset. She felt like everyone was staring at her. Ruby could not stay there any longer. She dropped the basket slightly, turned around, and ran outside. She ran to a quiet corner near the store and sat down. Tears ran down her cheeks. She felt embarrassed and ashamed. She could not stop thinking about the people laughing at her. She felt like she had failed completely. That night, Ruby lay in her bed, staring at the ceiling. The room was quiet, but her mind was loud. She thought, maybe I'm not meant for English. Maybe I will never learn. Maybe I am not good enough. Her heart felt heavy with fear and sadness. She could not sleep. Chapter 3: A New Idea. Ruby cried for a long time that night. She felt sad, embarrassed, and hopeless. But then she remembered something she had seen in a video about babies. Babies do not study grammar books. Babies do not memorize long word lists. Babies just listen to the people around them. They copy the sounds they hear. They repeat the words again and again. Slowly, they learn to speak without fear. Ruby thought carefully. If babies can learn a language by listening and copying, why can't I? A small light appeared in her heart. Maybe, just maybe, there was a way she could learn English too. That night, Ruby made a promise to herself. She would not give up. She would not feel ashamed of making mistakes. She would start small. She would practice every single day. Ruby decided on a simple plan. She would listen to English every day. She would repeat the sentences out loud. She would copy the speaker's voice and accent. She would practice speaking to herself. She would learn a few useful phrases every day. She knew it would not be easy. She knew she would make mistakes. She knew some days would be hard and frustrating. But she also knew that if she worked a little every day, she would improve. Ruby felt a small hope growing in her heart. For the first time in a long time, she did not feel invisible. She felt ready to take the first step. That night, Ruby went to bed with a smile. A new idea had changed her mind. A new promise had changed her heart. Her journey to speak English confidently had just begun. Chapter 4: Listening and Repeating. The next morning, Ruby woke up early. She felt excited and nervous at the same time. She remembered the promise she made to herself the night before. Today, she would start learning English in a new way. Ruby turned on a simple English podcast while cooking breakfast. She listened carefully to the words and tried to understand. Some words were new. Some words were difficult. But she did not stop. After breakfast, she watched short English videos. She paused after each sentence and repeated it out loud. She tried to copy the sounds exactly, her voice, her tone, her speed. Sometimes it was hard. Sometimes her tongue felt stuck. But she kept repeating the sentences until they sounded better. Ruby also tried shadowing. She played a video and spoke at the same time. As the speaker, it felt strange at first. Her voice sounded funny, but little by little it became easier. Her mouth learned to move faster. Her ears learned to catch the words faster. Every day, Ruby learned 5 new phrases. She wrote them in a small notebook. She used them while walking to the store, cleaning her room, or cooking lunch. She did not wait for anyone to talk to her. She practiced with herself. She spoke slowly and clearly, even if no one listened. At the end of the day, Ruby felt proud. She could feel the small changes in her English. Her ears understood more. Her mouth could say more. Her heart felt braver. Chapter 5: Thinking in English. After practicing every day, Ruby began to notice something amazing. Her brain was starting to work differently. English words started coming to her mind naturally. She no longer needed to translate from her own language. The words just appeared, one after another, like magic. When she woke up, she said to herself, "Good morning, today is a new day. I will learn English." While drinking water, she said quietly, "This is water." While walking to the kitchen, she said, "I am walking." While looking outside at the sky, she said, "The sky is blue." She spoke slowly at first, but her confidence grew little by little. She could describe simple things in English without thinking too much. She could name objects, actions, and colors. She could even say short sentences about her day. Ruby felt proud for the first time in months. She realized that English was no longer just words on a page. It was becoming part of her life. It was inside her mind, her thoughts, her feelings. Every day, she tried to think in English more and more. While cooking, walking, or cleaning, she spoke to herself. She asked herself questions and answered them. What will I eat today? I will make tea. What should I do after lunch? I will listen to a podcast. Slowly, Ruby felt stronger. Her fear of speaking English started to disappear. She felt brave. She felt proud. She knew she was moving forward. Ruby understood something very important. If you can think in English, speaking it becomes easier. And when thinking becomes easier, confidence grows naturally. Ruby was ready for the next step in her journey. Chapter 6, The Test in the Store. One sunny afternoon, Ruby decided to go back to the same small store where she had cried months ago. Her heart beat a little faster as she walked inside. She remembered the day she had felt, embarrassed when the words would not come. But now she felt different. The cashier looked at her and smiled. "Do you need help finding something?" he asked. Ruby took a deep breath. She straightened her back and smiled. She remembered all the practice she had done, listening, repeating, thinking in English. She told herself, "I can do this." Then she spoke clearly. "Yes, could you please show me where the milk is?" Her voice was calm. Her words were confident. She could feel her fear melting away. She felt strong. She felt proud. The cashier nodded and led her to the milk section. He spoke slowly, and Ruby understood every word. She asked a few questions and got the answers easily. She even smiled and thanked him at the end. For the first time, Ruby realized something very important. English was no longer scary. It was not a wall she could not cross. It was a tool, a way to communicate, a way to live freely in her new country. Ruby left the store with a happy heart. She walked slowly, enjoying the feeling of confidence in her words. She knew that small steps, practice, and patience had changed her life. That day, Ruby understood clearly. When you face your fear and speak despite it, you grow stronger, and every small success builds the courage to take the next step. Ruby was ready for her next challenge, because she now knew she could speak English. Chapter 7, Fluent and Confident. Weeks passed, and Ruby practiced English every single day. She listened to podcasts, repeated sentences, and spoke to herself. She read simple books and watched videos. She wrote down new phrases and used them in her life. At work, she began speaking with her coworkers. She greeted them in English, asked questions, and answered politely. At first, it was a little scary. Sometimes she made mistakes, but she did not stop. Every mistake became a small lesson. Every word she spoke made her stronger. Ruby also spoke with neighbors and strangers. She asked for directions. She bought things in shops. She asked simple questions and understood the answers. Each conversation made her more confident. She started writing emails in English. She could answer questions from her boss. She could explain simple ideas clearly. Even small presentations in front of a few people became easier for her. She felt proud every time she finished a task in English. Slowly, Ruby realized something amazing. She was no longer afraid. English was no longer her enemy. It was her tool. It was her key to a new life. It opened doors to new opportunities, new friends, and new experiences. Ruby felt free. She could travel, shop, talk, and work without fear. She could express her thoughts and ideas confidently. Her brain now thought in English naturally. Her voice was clear. Her heart felt brave. Ruby understood a very important truth. If you practice every day, face your fears, and never give up, you can turn your weakness into strength. You can become fluent. You can become confident. Ruby's journey was proof that courage and practice can change everything. Chapter 8, Helping Others. Today, Ruby speaks English fluently. She works in an international company. She travels to different cities for work. She meets people from many countries. She speaks English easily with everyone. Ruby remembers how scared she felt when she first came to this country. She remembers the tears, the fear, and the embarrassment. She remembers the promise she made to herself to never give up. Now Ruby wants to help others. She wants to share her story. She wants to show people that learning English is possible. She teaches her younger sister every day. She helps her practice speaking, listening, and writing. She explains simple methods she used herself. Ruby tells her sister, "You don't need perfect English. You only need courage. Speak every day. Practice a little at a time. Don't give up no matter what." Her sister listens and follows her advice. She learns faster because Ruby guides her. Ruby feels happy every time her sister speaks a new sentence confidently. Ruby also helps her coworkers and friends. She shares tips about listening, repeating, and thinking in English. She encourages them to speak even if they make mistakes. She practices with them after work. She smiles when she sees them improving. Ruby's story shows one very important thing. No matter how scared you feel today, no matter how small your English is, with practice, patience, and courage, you can speak English confidently too. Ruby's journey proves that courage and consistency are stronger than fear. If you start today and never give up, you can change your life, just like Ruby did.